And
listening to what you say, sir, we are going towards a multipolar world, and that reflects in a lot of different theaters. Having said that, since we spoke about the US, China, and India, the common factor there is the Indo-Pacific as well. How do you think the US and Trump's new government will respond in the Indo-Pacific?
so, whenever this question comes, I always think of the interconnectedness of theaters. And see, that is a very important thing. The USA has been wanting to pivot to the Indo-Pacific since 2010, or even perhaps before. Then Iraq intervenes, then Afghanistan intervenes. And look at how the Chinese have made use of that. When the Americans were stuck in Iraq and Afghanistan, they have carried out the most massive military modernization in the history of mankind. They have made use of that. And today, there is a double whammy, even before Trump. What is the double whammy? It's a triple whammy. Americans would want to pivot to Pacific. Ukraine. And if Ukraine was not enough, there is every danger of getting sucked into West Asia. I mean, today you have THAAD deployed in Israel. There are a lot of issues. Now, is it by design or is it by coincidence? I have no evidence. I think it's by design. Chinese statecraft is getting the Americans sucked in here. Initially, you remember I did a podcast with you about CRINC, CR. Today, it's a reality. And this is where, I think the West has failed. We also have not understood the Chinese too well. When Xi says friendship without limits, there is no Article 5, there is no Article 6. But it is perhaps better than all these alliance structures. What happens when under that? The Chinese have given them jamming equipment, microelectronics, CNC equipment. North Korea is giving troops. So I'm saying here is an alliance structure, CRINC. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, brace up to the reality. Russia would not have been in the fight without ammunition from North Korea, without drones from Iran, a country under sanctions. Now, if Iran has done so much for Russia, over the last month or so, Shoigu has spent weeks in Tehran coordinating their air defenses, S-300, S-400. You think Russia will stay out if Iran is threatened? These are the imponderables. I don't think so. They will not stay out. उन्होंने इतना किया है. Whole drone stuff, that factory in Tatarstan, in return for these 10,000 troops, Russia is giving space, nuclear technologies to North Korea. It is going to impact the Korean peninsula. And it's a huge danger to South Korea.
And that's a concern for the US.
US. And for us, for geopolitics. So it's not a narrow pivot to the Indo-Pacific. The other issue is, and this is a big lesson for us, the Americans are paying a huge price for atrophying statecraft and for neglecting their military-industrial complex. See, statecraft. Kissinger ने एक नसीहत दी थी कि भाई रशिया और चाइना को कभी इकट्ठा नहीं होने देना. And in a jovial manner, in Bewakufo have these fools have done precisely the opposite. Precisely. Russia and China are together. Look at the military-industrial complex. Roosevelt said, the arsenal of democracy. He said, if you value your democracy, if you value democratic values, invest in the military. What have they gone and done? Today, the neglect of the military-industrial complex is so severe. Trump is talking of decoupling. How do you decouple when the American military-industrial complex, for its intermediate goods, is dependent on 10,000 Chinese companies?
Absolutely.
10,000. Look at capacities. Look at how we are running out of AD interceptors. In this Ukraine, Russia is firing 4,000 missiles a year. You need 8,000 interceptors, 2 per interception. What is the American capacity? 700 in a year. This is going to take time. What is the Chinese capacity? 10,000 cruise missiles per week. They took advantage of that Iraq-Afghanistan phase. They have built Chinese manufacturing capacities, value-added, non-military, 2014, were half of that of USA. 2022, they are twice. What is the consequence? The Chinese military-industrial complex exceeds the US military complex by a factor of 5. These are the realities. So Trump's reality is not to wind down wars. That is rhetoric. It is to build back American deterrence. The Americans have become a pair of failing deterrents. Afghanistan, Ukraine. Houthis nahi darte America se. The Red Sea has been closed for the last 5 to 6 months. So now this is the challenge for Trump. Rhetoric to serious stuff. The deterrence takes, a decade to build up. So, Indo-Pacific has to be seen in that sense. The theaters are interconnected. It is just not the Indo-Pacific. Indo-Pacific, Ukraine. If you buckle down in Ukraine, what is the message to Xi? So I don't think it is as simple as that. These are larger issues of statecraft, military industry. When he gets into office, he'll be briefed about all that, and perhaps he may take 4 steps back.
Would this be concerning for him enough to make an action and leave a legacy? Because we have to think about how he would leave the office after 4 5 years.
Yeah, so you're right, because he's somebody said the day he takes over, he's a lame duck president, because second term, he's got 4 years, no third term. So he used to do a lot of these things, and he has to prioritize now. Bhai karna kya hai? It's not going to be so easy. And the lesson for us in this sense is that we have to see, I keep saying, we are enjoying an unprecedented peace dividend.
Yes.
We must make use of this time, not only military, but economic, strategic, military muscle, because China is not a rookie country. It is a serious player, and it's not tucked away in Latin America. It's on your borders. So we should be thinking with far greater agility on these matters.
What you just watched was just the tip of the iceberg. If you're as curious as us on subjects that govern the world and our lives, you're at the right place. Do consider subscribing, because the next conversation might just change how you see the world. Until then, keep reimagining yourself and know that the power of change lies within you. Jai Hind.